Okay, 2024. We're counting weeks, we're counting down in weeks to get to 2025, and I noticed that I didn't have any Q&A session in video per se. I have them in live streams, which by the way, my live streams are actually on the membership side of my channel. If you're interested in going to watch them, go ahead, pay a little token to support the content creator. And as I'm talking about supporting of the content creator, do well to subscribe, please, and also give this video a thumbs up. Ask questions, because at the end of the day, your questions can be put into video, because not all questions can be answered in the comment section. So without wasting so much of your time, these questions came from everywhere. Some came from my students, some came from WhatsApp, some came from Instagram, some came here from you guys on YouTube. I just compiled everything together. So the first question is, explain water in oil and oil in water. Although most of the questions, sorry, I mean, are from my students. Let me be more specific. Yeah, most of them, if not 70%, are from my classes. And if you're interested in learning cosmetic studies or cosmetic science, I have online and offline classes. So distance should not be a barrier to stopping you from becoming a cosmetic formulator, or you could make your products by yourself. And control whatever it is you want to put inside. So water in oil usually has a sign of W and a slash and then O. That is water in oil. When you see that as a cosmetic formulator, you would know that the oil is a water based, obviously. We've had water in oil, obviously. So it's a water based formulation with oils in them. And we all know that oils and water do not come together, but obviously we have a binder. We have emulsifiers, we also have core emulsifiers to put this two together. So when you see W/O, it means that the water was actually added into those oils. Yeah. And when you see O/W, meaning that the oils were added in the water. Okay, from my own observation, because most of the time or all of the time I have always used BTMS, that is either benzimonium metasulfate or benzimonium chloride. Honestly, from my own personal experience, like I am specifying my own personal experience, because we different cosmetic formulators, different strokes for different folks. I have noticed that when I do the procedure of water in oil, I have a much more thicker emulsion than when I do oil in water. Do I get emotions in both procedure? Yes, but I noticed that the procedure from water to oil, that's WO, for me gives me an emotion with a thicker viscosity. That is why I had to specify personally and my own personal experience. So the next question, I'm not going to call label any number, but just, if you want to remove citric acid from your formulation, what do you increase to keep the formula at 100%? That's a good one. But the answer I remember giving to that student was, why would you want to remove citric acid? Our skin. I'm a cosmetic formulator for skin of color, especially melanated skin. Like, I make products for people that resemble me. And mind you, not bleaching product, non-bleaching product, please. Um, Citric acid goes into your formula as a buffering solution. Our skin acid mantle needs to be kept in check. It needs to be put in a right habitat. What do I mean by that? For stay on products, I wouldn't advise you to leave on a product that does not have a skin suitable pH. Our skin can actually take pH from like 4 to 6, to be honest with you, in as much as the most favorable pH for our skin is 4.5 to 5.5. And when I say our skin, I am talking of all skin colors, skin tones ish. So, and that is why we struggle with age when our skin is tilting towards alkaline more. Do you understand? So it's very important to bring it back. There was a video I stated that some people are very lucky that they have a skin that no matter what you place on it, even if the pH is not favorable, some skin types could actually bring back their skin to its favorable pH, right? But that's by the way, like I said, some. So it's not like it's so much like that. Are they there? Yes, they are there. I can't give you any percentage. I can't give you any estimation, right? But some people are lucky like that. Why some people are not lucky like that, right? And basically, our skin strives better in a mild acidic condition or in a mild acidic medium. Therefore, stay on products should have skin favorable pH. So you can't take out citric acid out of your formula. It's coming in there as a buffering solution. That's the thing. Except if it's not in the formula at all. Then if it's not in the formula at all, we shouldn't even be talking about it. Okay, another question said, should you add sunscreen to all your creams or should that be done separately? Okay, at the end of the day, this our learning never ends, right? Learning never ends. I have one of the most popular video on this my channel. I made a base cream, or rather a cream base, anyone, it's still the same thing we're talking about. And I added titanium dioxide. At that time, I added titanium dioxide. Why? Because that period, I noticed, like I said in one of my videos, you as a cosmetic formulator, you tend to even be nosy. You stick your nose where it doesn't belong. But then in a way, it does belong because you're trying to solve a lot of issues, right? Okay, I noticed at that time, that was like 6 years ago, if I'm not mistaken, or 7 years ago, I had to formulate with a little bit of titanium dioxide. The reason was that that period there was this massive um, process or whatever, cosmetic process that was in vogue where they call it promixing or Oshoprapra-ish. These are just bleaching products that till today, the stain from that type of cosmetics is still rubbing off on even people like us that are trying our best to bring you the right thing, right? When they say organic here in Nigeria, they are trying to refer to bleaching products. But in reality, that's not what organic is all about. I have a video where I spoke about organic, inorganic, and even natural. Okay, I'll drop in the description space so that you can watch in case you want to know more about that. So that period, there was something I noticed. Those people that do pro mixing now come to buy base creams because at some point they noticed that buying random creams in the market was complicating their issues, was complicating some of their so-called pro mixing or their whatever, right? So they now realize that okay, it's like buying a base cream that literally has no active in them was much better for pro mixing purposes over buying creams that have already been formulated to suit whatever condition it's supposed to suit, right? And then, of course, from their customer complaint, they realize that okay, people's skin are getting spoiled. Maybe when we mix it with this, when we mix it with that, so probably there's something that is not aligning here, that is not coming together and agreeing to work together. Okay, so decide to start buying base creams from people like us that were formulating base creams by ourselves. So that period, just like I told you, as a cosmetic formulator, you just need to help them find the solution to their problems. That's the truth, yeah. So personally, let me speak for myself. Yeah, I started adding titanium dioxide. The reason why I started adding titanium dioxide was to just give a little bit of sun protection factor, which wasn't even, will I say, wasn't standard. That's the truth because I cannot give you a standard sunscreen for you to formula with a standard sunscreen percentage for you to go and add actives. There's going to be contradiction. I don't know. That is for my students, honestly, not something I should put out here, though. So that explanation will go deeper if you register for any of my cosmetic science or cosmetic studies courses, right? So at that time, there was that need for that little bit of support on my own, from my own goodness of my heart. Yes. Okay, that's it. And at present now, there is really no need for that. I have an updated version of this base cream, but it's still in the membership side of my channel. The economy is not funny. You need to help the creator. And adding any form of sunscreen, honestly, in moisturizers might not necessarily be necessary at this point. Why? Because we have dedicated sunscreens for the face and also for the body. So let moisturizers just be what they are. Moisturizers for skin of color, can have the tyrosine inhibitors that will help to even out skin tone, help with hyperpigmentation, but then leave the formulation of adding titanium dioxide or zinc dioxide and concentrate on your moisturizer and leave sunscreen for people manufacturing sunscreen for sunscreen purposes. Like, I just feel that when something is formulated for a particular purpose is much more legit than when it is just an afterthought. But adding titanium dioxide or zinc oxide inside your base cream, is it a negative thing? Not at all. It's actually even a positive thing. But what I'm saying is that when you let clients know that something like that is in existence in their body moisturizers, they might relax from wearing sunscreen. Like right now, there are some arguments around on the street of social media where some people will tell you that the SPF in their powders and foundations and makeup in general is good enough for protection. It is not up to standard. There's a specific calculation on sunscreens, either the mineral sunscreen or the chemical sunscreen, which of course, if you're an oldie here, you will know that I am a mineral sunscreen fan. Exactly, I am a supporter of mineral sunscreen over chemical. But just know clearly that any form of sun protection factor that is in your body moisturizer might not even might not will not offer you the required sun protection. Any sun protection factor that is also in your makeup products, either your foundation or your powders, will not offer you the required protection, because as it stands now, there are standard sun protection factor products that will offer you the required protection. But adding titanium dioxide or zinc oxide inside your base cream, is it a yes or a no? It could be a yes and it could still be a no. That's by the way. I'll stop this video here and get into the part 2 because it's becoming too long. All right. So let's meet at the part 2. Okay. Thank you.